stars used to have. Like everybody shouldn't be able to see you and get to you. So then when they do see you, it's like a special treat.
No, they might shouldn't have access to you, but in the world that you exist in, or the music space that you exist in, the pop stars, pop is short.
But I don't even want to necessarily be a pop star or an R&B star. I just want to be free in music. Like, cause I feel like I'm cold at rap too. Like, I'm cold at rap. I feel like I'm cold like at R&B and shit too. Like, I feel like I could do whatever. And I feel like as a nigga, we get stuck. We get stuck. Like niggas come out and like their first song is like, I kill, drill, skrill, and sell drugs for a living, and then that's it. You can only do that for 5 years, nigga. How long you gonna kill, skrill, and sell drugs? So even if you reform your life, you got a short career. Even if like you stop doing what you was doing, like even if you step out of the streets, stop doing all that other shit, like start talking about reforming shit, like NLA Chopper, right? Start talking about reform, but you still only got so long. Like people only gonna pay attention to that for so long. Like people only care about you getting your life together for so long.
Cause mind you,
no, I don't think it's true. I'm just saying it's the data.
What? So all right. So I'm glad you said that, because this is the perfect way to jump right into this conversation. Because mind you, I sent both of y'all the conversation that the man Sean Cotton was having. Man for Say Cheese, right?
Yeah.
And he was talking about the characters in the entertainment space, and in mind specifically in rap, right? So going back to what you just said, you only have like a window that you can live out a thing. All right. Supposedly.
Depending on what it is, like if you're coming out with that thing.
No. Let's go back to what you said specifically. You said drilling, killing, all that.
Selling drugs, you only got so long to do that.
Now, mind you, one of the things that I always think is funny, and I'm gonna step backwards to bring a point forward that I want you to speak to. I heard somebody in a song say, I can't remember how he said it, but he said something fly about how most of the drug dealing tales you tell was only like a year of your life.
We're best to get a whole group, a whole movement. Like whoever has the most power in that situation, they do the best to get the whole thing. So people get gotten generations. So you remove a generation of crime from the community, right? And for a little bit, there's a little bit of scuffle over power because you just removed all the power. So, but once that scuffle of power dies down, then there's a level of calm in that community because whatever was the moving forces, whoever is gone. So while they build up, I don't think that.
That's
how I'm saying the subdivisions follow. Like
no. It can. The subdivision can follow if we're following that stream of thought. But I think in other areas of it, I think it also speaks to so going back to just the power aspect of it. And I'll make sure we get the intro in just a second. Like just going back to the power aspect of it, I think it speaks. So let's say you're in a community that they don't want to build in, that they don't want to bring gentrification to.
Right.
And yet your community has the ability to affect the communities around it. So they don't want to go into fucking they don't necessarily want to be on the east side of here, like building new condos and shit.
Yeah.
But they don't necessarily like the fact that people who don't live in that community may go over there to buy drugs. They don't like the fact that people going through that community may get carjacked and robbed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so then the issue becomes, well, there is a force of power over there, and we need to know who it is. And in mind you, the biggest issue becomes, even though you might start out in the community being destructive, like I know, once you get your capital up, the first thing you start thinking about is, how can I do right?
Right.
And that becomes the issue for why they come.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about the fact that you've just managed to like be a great drug dealer. It's the fact that you've accumulated finance and power, and you quite possibly have an army. What happens if you decide to turn from being the villain to the hero?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And especially if you've ever lived in a community with a big time drug dealer.
And that's what they worry about. So they watch these communities analytically with the stats, and they coordinate them together. So as soon as anybody or anything really, because it's not just people. It's also it's not just people on the illicit side of things. It's also small businesses. It's also people with crazy ideas that might change the world. They monitor them till they reach a level that they become somewhat successful and or dangerous. And then when they, especially on the criminal side of things, specifically because we're talking about these neighborhoods, then they'll do a lot of arrests, usually just for cameras, but they'll remove a lot of people off the street, and then they'll develop. And and usually they'll develop faster than those people can afford to move back. So people get out of jail, and then you can't afford to live there anymore. And so you think so like whole time you've been fighting over this territory, but you can't afford to live anywhere 20 miles around here. So actually, this isn't your territory anymore. And if you look at Brooklyn, New York, if you look at LA, if you look at San Diego, parts of San Diego, if you look at any major city in the world, if you look at Chicago, the black communities get compressed in smaller pockets of these major cities because of the crime element that exists in black communities.
Difference. Yeah. There is a difference between what we know gentrification to be versus removing those who have the ability to unify and quantify more.
No, and I'm saying, no, they are different teams. I'm just saying, as far as the government side of it, they move in coordination with one another. That's all I'm saying. So that's why the stats are so important, because that's what alerts the businessman to say, oh, let me move into this area because the stats have just started to slow down a little bit. I know this area historically, let me move in now. While they got this guy in and this property just went to the government, I know it'll be at auction next month because they just arrested this fella. I know he was trying to buy all these properties in his neighborhood. They just arrested him. The government has seized those properties, hold them up for auction, and that's what they're waiting for. They're waiting for those analytics to change for those type of moments, and that's how they're able to buy so much property in such a short span of time. And that's why gentrification doesn't happen necessarily gradually all the time. So.
Well, yeah, man. The reason we're even having this conversation, y'all, we're talking about qualitative and quantitative research, the difference in the type of data that they represent and the people who have access to them, for those who keep up with that kind of stuff. These are the kind of conversations that we have here on Authentic N-Words. By the way, welcome to another episode of Authentic N-Words. These are conversations that we have on Authentic N-Words, and this is another conversation of Authentic N-Words. I'm your brother, Rian or Duece. We somewhere in the community. I got my little bro Marcus here. For those who keep up with entertainment out here in the Denver, Colorado. Very dope entertainer, very great mind, very prolific in his thinking, very down to earth, definitely one of the authentic N-words. Make sure you follow him on all platforms, MarcusThatNi. And it's very fitting, to be here on Authentic N-Words. By the way, remind me to explain that to y'all one day, what it is to be authentic N-words and authentic N-words. That's another conversation for another day.
The Dutch trade company. It was a government-sponsored company, and it was a sole company during the whole slave trade. So they shipped the slaves from Africa to India, to wherever they went. From Africa to India, from Africa to the fucking Americas, from Africa to Europe. They shipped the slaves everywhere they went. They shipped the slaves from Africa to the Caribbeans. As far south into South America. So these guys have all the wealth. All the wealth from that. And then my point is they have all the money. They have all the money.
You said that's why they can be like, he's got a Swedish offshore account.
Yeah, they got all the money.
I mean, the thing is even in speaking in the Dutch trade mind, that's the same company.
From every conflict. I'm just saying that's why I went that far back. From every conflict, they got all the money from that. I'm just saying they got all the money. Like, pick whatever major conflict you want to pick from that region, any region in the world, and Sweden was involved, but in the right capacity at the right time, and nobody invaded them, and nobody changed them.
So we ain't have to do shit.
Yeah.
But basically maintain neutral.
Yeah.
And collect the bread.
Collect. And then another place that will never lose money, that'll always be in power for the world. This is where you keep your money, is all I'm saying. If you're looking to buy property, this is where you buy property. Another place that'll never fall off is Italy. People have their thoughts about Italy, whatever. I'm not speaking about opinions here. I'm just saying that all the wealth from the Vatican and the entire wealth from the Roman Empire is in Italy. It's in the Vatican. That's the entire wealth from the Roman Empire. All the money, all the gold that they had. You think they melted it down? No, they just took it there.
I mean, we know they got it. We know it's in the basement.
So they'll never go. So if you're looking to buy property,
in the museums,
if you're looking
things like that. Don't hell nah. I mean, the thing is, you get to thinking like we on the phone and shit. I know how you do.
Spirals, man. Spirals.
I mean, nah, I don't get it. I don't get it. You said what?
It's all connected. It's all.
Nah, I mean, it's a fact. I mean, not only do we know it's a fact, but you have to ask yourself, like, what parts of the connecting spaces matter to who and for what reason.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, in all seriousness, right? Like when we talk about like all of that, like everything you just said, right? Take everything you just said. One of the important moments that we know to be factual now in our history is the fact that that same company is the company, once you come to North America, who provided the indigenous people with the blankets that we know had smallpox.
Right.
Now, mind you, that takes us into a whole nother part of history and how a whole group of people gets wiped out.
Right.
And then how it trickles down into reservations and how we get to casinos.
Right.
You ever seen that picture? Who's that dude? That famous quote unquote explorer from the Europeans that took that famous picture next to all of the buffalo bones?
Oh, I don't even know.
After they killed them all?
I don't even know. I don't even know.
To know.
Probably a John. It's probably a John. A John Snow, a John Smith.
I just know.
Maybe a George. Maybe
I just know it's a famous photo.
Yeah.
Like to know that, to know that that was one of the grazing animals for people who took care of themselves, separate from you ever knowing them.
Yeah. Well,
you came here and then you conquered and then you killed one of the primary food sources.
It was to cement Native Americans. You know, Native Americans got to the point where they stopped fighting for land and they just began to try to live where they can live and live how they wanted to live and worship who they wanted to worship and
that's the history of our country.
And that's not allowed. That's not allowed.
And then to know that, and then before we segue, and then to know that, when you just talk about a people who are based on principles having to do with nature.
Right.
Like they never had no famous books. Like they never had no famous prophets, so to speak.
Yeah.
They just had the people who were a part of their own culture, their own culture's history.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And yet, you had a people show up and tell them that they were savage based on what they didn't have access to, and yet the same thing that you say is supposed to civilize us, you used it to enslave us. And we know that is the big circle of what we are as Black and indigenous people in this country.
Circle of life.
So let's segue, right? Like knowing that we know that slavery jumped into Jim Crow, black laws, we know Jim Crow, black laws turns into the Department of Corrections.
Yeah.
Right? So as a person who's gone, through the system, right? In various capacities. How do you where do you see the system has played the biggest role in your life? Like in any part of the system. Mine, for me, it's been the Department of Corrections. The 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment spoke directly to blacks like us. One of them said that you could be incarcerated and be put back in slave conditions. So I know what it's like to be put back in that system, so to speak, but there's various systems. What's the system that's harmed you?
I guess the system that played the largest role in my life is the foster care DHS system. But I guess system raised me. I was raised by the state of Texas and the state of Oklahoma. Bouncing back between the two.
So what was that like? Like mine, you hear foster care, you just hear somebody without a family, and they need one. But what does that mean?
Yeah, I think I think it means different things over time. When I was younger, it felt like that. I just wanted a family. I just want a family. I used to say that a lot, But now that I'm older and stuff, I almost feel better having it, better for it. Because, I mean a lot of people that have, grew up in a two-parent household, and they feel almost indebted to their parents, almost indebted to their family, almost weighted down by them. So I don't look at it as bad, because there's a lot of things I could have got. And a lot of things that could have went differently for me if it hadn't happened. And a lot of things I got from it that I couldn't have got anywhere else. And I think it's why I know as much as I know. And I've seen as much as I've seen. But but I think it needs to be fixed. There's areas of it definitely that are fucking disgusting.
Think it needs to be
fixed? Yeah, I think this is how I feel about any system. It's how you work it for real. It's how you work it for real. And that's what I think,
working it is separate from fixing it.
No, for real. And but I think it needs to be fixed on that level, the people in the system. It's not really necessarily the way the words are written on the paper is all. It's not necessarily. It's not the law. It's not the law the way it's written. It's not the Constitution the way it's written. The Constitution the way it's written says we're all equal. It's that nobody, you know, follows it the way it's written. So it's not the system the way it's written, it's the way it's been taught. It's the way it was created. It's what was in mind when they created these words and they wrote these words down on the paper. And that's the problem with the foster care system. The biggest issue with the foster care system is that nobody really wants a spare kid. You know, it's like, that's the truth. Nobody really wants a spare kid. You know, people want a kid. You know, there's a lot of people that, you know, maybe they're in a relationship, you know, wife is barren, they want a kid. There's some people that have kids and they're thinking to themselves, we could use the extra income. We're really great with our kids. We would love this kid. We would treat them really good. So we'll have another kid. And there's some people that don't know what the fuck they're doing with their lives and could really just use somebody that tells them they love them. And there's somebody that looks up to them every day. And those are the most dangerous people in the world because that's the problem with the foster care system. There's too many people
want to
that
take advantage.
Yeah, maybe they just want to take
a child's life.
Right, they want to take advantage of their kid, or they're looking to find themselves through a kid. You know, they don't know what the fuck's going on in their lives. They went through a career path, they didn't like it. They're 30 years old. You know, maybe they're not doing so well, relationship-wise, or in their life, or their career isn't working, and they ask themselves, what am I worth? What am I gonna do in this world to be meaning? And they don't make music, and they don't write novels, and they say, well, hell, I'll take care of a kid. And so that's really what happens. You have the people, and then you have, of course, the demons.
Hold on.
My bad.
Hold on, no. Because I want to because you're saying this, and as you're saying it, like, you know, there's parts of the story that I know, and if you choose to say them, you say them. If you choose not to, cool. But it makes me think, like, as little bro, as he's journeying through this, and as you're throwing him out there, like, is there, and I feel like I know the answer, but like, is there a difference in like as you walk into the home and you walk into the black home, you walk into the white home, you walk into the home that is just being ran by like the counselors and shit. You might walk into the home that's run by Asians, but yet all the kids or none of them are Asian. Like, how does that mess with the mind? Like, or how did it mess with yours? Or maybe mess with is not the right word. Like, how did that affect you or guide you on what took place as you're saying it now? Because I'm like, as you're saying this, like, you're throwing out a lot of examples of people who would just randomly want a kid.
Yeah.
But I wonder what they look like, how they live.
So, there's not a lot of minority foster families.
Nah?
At all. Like, and not to say, I've been in black homes and I've been in Hispanic homes before. But just to point out, there's not a lot of minority foster families, especially ones that are looking to have a kid for the right reasons. I hate to say that, but there's just not. Foster care was created to take kids from minority homes and put them into white homes. We can talk about what's happened now. We can talk about the differences in it, the changes that the academics have said have been made, all this other stuff, the legal language around it. But that was the sole creation of foster care. Foster care was the whole reason foster care was created. You can look this up. It's Googleable. It's public record. This isn't something that anybody's tried to hide. Was to take black kids from black homes and put them into white neighborhoods. And the idea was, if we raise these little niggas right, maybe they'll grow up to be a respectable member of society. And that's a real thing. You can look it up. So the majority of foster families are white, first of all. And then a lot of the black foster families that are, at least that I had experience with, they were everything but black. They were everything but black the way I knew black to be. And the way I knew black to be was almost unacceptable in the household, and I should act the way I was supposed to act. But as far as you asked me the difference walking into the different households, I guess it was just a level of a fear of awareness I'd incur. Like when I walk into a black household, I'm not necessarily in fear. You know, like there might be some rules I have to follow or some things I have to do that I don't necessarily want to do. Like maybe I have to take out the trash or something. Or maybe I have to help clean or something like that. Or I have to watch a kid I don't want to watch. But when I walk into a household, I mean, all manner of things could be happening. I could have to fight a grown man. You know, somebody might try to, you know, fucking rape me. I might have to work. I might have to go work fucking for free for a long time. You know, so it's just a level of things that could happen for me. I guess every kid's different, but that's what I would think about. Just a level of fear I would feel like. When I walk into a white household, you never know what the fuck they got going on, man. Like sometimes,
But the hope is that
no, there's no hope. Like white people that like, and this is maybe
there's no
racist
hope
to me.
walking in your thing?
No, this is maybe racist to me. This is maybe racist for me. This is maybe racist for me. This is maybe racist for me.
I mean, it's your truth.
But there's a lot of minorities in this country. Most of the time they've been oppressed or suppressed. So most of their focus in one way or another is getting over that oppression or suppression. And you can pick any minority, Asian, black, whatever, like it doesn't matter. So they do it in different ways and they fight with each other, but really they all have the same mindset. Like they're just trying to get rich or trying to elevate themselves. Like even the black foster families that take in a bunch of kids that they just fucking neglect for the money, their only goal in mind is elevating themselves to a level of wealth. Like they're just trying to get rich.
So hold up. Hold up.
My bad.
So let me get this straight.
No, I'm not saying all the time, but a lot of times.
So you don't, my bad. So you don't think, or at least for you in your journey,
Yeah.
there hasn't, you've never walked in to a home with the hope that this will be the one.
When I was a little kid, man. When I was a little kid, that little nigga Marcus, before, everything happened to him, that was one hopeful, optimistic little nigga. But around the time I was like 9 years old, no, like my mama lost me at birth. Then when I was like 4 or 5, she took me to DHS and she said, I can't take care of this kid anymore. So that was my first introduction to being raised. My mother said, I can't take care of this kid anymore. I want to do heroin. This kid's alive. And that's kind of how it went, And so that's literally how it went. My second time going to foster care, nobody came and got me. It wasn't like I was at the school being grimy or something and my mom fought tooth and nail. No, she said, I can't take care of this kid anymore. And that's what I mean. Like, most kids are grown and they're raised and they're told, like, you're special, you're beautiful, you're the future, you're everything. But I know the harsh truth. The harsh truth of the reality is that everybody's really a kid. Like, even I've met 55-year-old men who are kids. They're 55, 60 years old, and this woman, Cheryl, that they went to high school with, has been cheating on them for 30 years. And they're making fucking $120,000 a year in the oil field, and women keep dialing up their phone, but they can't get over Cheryl. I met 65-year-old men that can't help but raise their voice to feel like they need to feel superior because they're your boss. My point is that we're all kids. So when, there's people that have a kid and in their mind, they're like, oh my God, the only thing I'm gonna do in life that's gonna make me important is raise this kid. And they're structured that way and they believe those things, and that's great. And that's why a lot of us are able to make it in society, is because of these beliefs that we're growing in. But the truth is that's not a hardwired belief. That's not something that everybody believes. Like, this idea that you have a kid and then automatically from the stars of lightning, you change into a new man. Nah, nigga, you're gonna be the same fucking scumbag you was before you had the kid.
You put that in the music?
Yeah, I do. That's, my song, You Didn't Raise Me, that's the whole point of the song. It talks about a generation of unraised heathens. And that's the whole point of the song, like everything a child noticed. It's not just about me. It's about my whole generation. Like, I don't necessarily feel bad, or scarred, or I feel like I feel like I got cut next to the next man. Like, most kids in my generation didn't fucking get raised. Like, there's a lot of kids that, they was like, their dad until they was grown. They just grew up and had to go out the house living there or whatever it is. Like, every kid from my generation that right now is 22, 23, 24, 26, any kid from 95 to 2005 will tell you they probably wasn't raised that way. Mostly mom or dad wasn't together, dad was in prison. Even the affluent white ones, My mom had a fucking opioid addiction. Like, I've been in all type of different households with all type of different kids. And I'm just saying, like, it's a generational thing at this point, and so I don't necessarily feel like, oh, poor pity me. Like, when I was younger, when I was a teenager, I had a chip on my shoulder. Poor pity me. Oh, the world did me an injustice. Oh, they did me so dirty. But as I've gotten older and I've looked around, and there are other people my age and other people that come from my generation that was raised, their stories are very similar.
That's why you're so wise. You've and mind you, as a view, as a POV, like, that's real. Like, a lot of people are running around society right now unable to get over the hurdle because they're looking for the pity party.
There's no pity party. Nobody cares.
But really, the harsh moments in life, of which, like, that's where the, you know, the most concentrated wisdom is at. You know, it'd be the most fucked up moments that take place that you learn the greatest lessons at. And it's shitty, but it's no less true.
Yeah. So
And by the
that's
way,
what he gave me.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's the foster care he gave me. I've seen grown women. I've seen women that are like, you know, in their 30s, like 30, you know, that like can't figure out life. So they're taking pills with their best friends and drinking wine, and they have a son. They have a son that came out of their body that they love, and they can't raise him. They don't talk to him. He's a teenager. They don't talk to him at all. So they go get another kid. So they go get a bunch of little foster kids, and they treat them like magic, and then their own kid that they raised. My point is, I just seen stuff nobody else has seen. I've been in situations that a lot of people haven't been in, you know, and I've seen people in a way that most people don't see them. Because people don't realize you show all sides to your child. Like all sides of you, your child sees. Like whatever you think your kid doesn't see about you, they see about you.
Indeed.
And you know, so I guess that's, you know, people say I'm wise or whatever, but I think that's where all my wisdom comes. Is I'm not gonna sit here and say all the things I see and they're like that. No pity party for me. I'm just saying I've seen a lot of stuff that people live and walk this earth for 100 years and I never see. You know, I used to, you know, melt the fucking, you know, heroin down in the spoon for my mom and, you know, mix it with the water and put it in the syringe so she could, you know, because it was easier than her trying to do it all the time, you know. So I'm just saying, like, I've seen people debilitate themselves in ways that most people haven't. But I've also seen people raise their ways in ways that most haven't. You know, I stayed at a host home when I was younger with this, when I was like 18. I wasn't even a foster kid no more, but with this man named J. Mashburn. And I like worked on his ranch and I stayed there with him. And he taught me something. You know, his dad used to walk from fucking Oklahoma to Kansas to get work. Like literally, like he'd walk just for days to get work. And then, you know, he'd call. Like he didn't call, he send a letter, you know, or send a telegram or something. 6 months later, hey, I got work, I'm paid, and he sent it back. You know, the level of like determination or whatever, like the level of work ethic that people used to have back then is gone, you know, and the way we live. But I'm just saying, I've seen people at different parts of their lives, at the highest of the points of their lives and the lowest points of their lives, and I've seen them in a way that most people don't see them. And that's why I get most of what I know from, you know. But I don't necessarily take that pain and make it my pain, you know. And maybe I'm not an empath, maybe I'm a little slightly sociopath.
You don't have to be an empath. Like the truth is like we're people who we already, you know, most of us we already have our own traumatic experiences, and then we come across people who have also gone through their own trauma, and then we vicariously carry their shit with us, and they take our shit with them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's how, you know, that's how we live, that's how we work, you know.
That's what makes us human, man. Like, and everybody has their own trauma, bro. Like I had to learn that shit. Like it's like people think like the severity of the situation changes the effect on the human, but that's not true. You know, and everybody has their own shit. So like,
so knowing that your trauma, right, and the journey has brought you here.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you want to refer to it as trauma, your experiences,
whatever,
your life. Like I know that it brought you here to Colorado, like as a person from Texas.
Yeah.
You know, you're living in a different place, and part of that system is how you get here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I know that in that journey, you get here and you transition from one system into another one, so to speak, based on just the stories. And so when you come out here, where do you go and how do you end up in the news out here?
So when I got out here, I was like 15. I got out here with the foster family. They moved out here. And I guess my choices were kind of like go back and, you know, just in adjacent foster care or move up here with them. So I did. And I was 15. And I moved up here with them. And, you know, everything was going well. But just as anything goes, you know, I left that foster family like I do eventually. And I ended up getting in trouble, you know, again. And I got in a fight, whatever, things went left. And I spent a lot of time in the, you know, just juvenile detention system out here. Yeah, and I spent a lot of time at Rite of Passage, Ridgeview Academy, ROP, Platt, places like that. I'm not gonna go too in depth into it, but I just spent a lot of time out here in that thing. So I left Rite of Passage. Rite of Passage is you know, it's kind of like a military school. Like they don't call it that, but you run 3 miles every day, you know, on a trail. Call the adrenaline rush. You do your push-ups, your sit-ups. You're very in shape. And they have a sports team there. They have a rugby team there, and I played rugby for them. And the coach helped me, you know, get into CMU, Colorado Mesa University. And being a foster kid, they paid for my school. So once I got here, I was kind of here. But I left rite of passage at 18 years old. So I left, you know, there in handcuffs. And, my caseworker paid for a taxi, and I took a taxi, believe it or not, from Denver, Colorado, all the way to Colorado Mesa University. And it was in the summertime because I didn't have anywhere to fucking live. And I didn't know anybody, and I didn't have anywhere to stay. I didn't have any mom and dad to call. So I had to stay on campus and go to campus early so I could fucking have somewhere to live. So my caseworker, bless her heart, had worked out with the state, or worked out with the school somehow, some fucking way, that I would go early. So I went early, I was staying in the school, and it was just a crazy transition for me. I went from, you know, I mean, I got told when to shit, you know, like, you know, I showered in 3 minutes, you know, you got 3 minutes to shower, shave, shit, all that shit.
Military school.
Right.
And you
Pinnacle of fitness, right. I come out, I look great, you know. I've never, for the last, like, the whole time, like, everybody else was in school, like, meeting girls, falling in love with girls and stuff, I was locked up, you know, there's no girls, you know what I mean? So it was my first time, like, you know, I fucked before, I guess I get like that. This is my first time ever getting to, like, just do what the fuck I wanted. And I was 18 years old, and, yeah, I just drank my fucking way out of college. You know, I drank and partied my way out of college. I got kicked out. So
that was part of the journey.
I'm not mad I left. I'm not mad how I went out. I'm not mad about the experience. I'm not mad at CMU for getting rid of me. The fucking
So how you end up in the newspaper?
A lot of different things. So when I left school, I ended up working at Walmart. And there's this path I used to take back and forth to work, nonsense. And there's this bridge that goes over it, pedestrian bridge, super high in the sky. And I'm riding back on my lunch break, and I see this fucking little girl. She can't be older than 13, and she's about to jump off the fucking bridge. And I kind of get alerted to it because there's 2 different bridges. There's a train bridge, and then there's a pedestrian bridge. And as I pass the train bridge, I see 4 cops. You know, Grand Junction is a very safe place. But let's say if it wasn't an unsafe place, that would be the safe place. It's very safe. But that would be the place that's unsafe, and it curves right behind the jail. So anyway, I see like 4 cops like nestled right there under the train. But because they're always doing bullshit right there, I'm just thinking like, whatever. So I just keep biking, but then I see the little girl, and I'm like, fuck, like, are these guys not gonna, you know? So I don't know, I just start shaking. I just kind of walk up the fucking steps. You know, I'm not gonna let this little girl jump off a bridge, like, right? Like, we're not gonna let the little girl jump off a bridge. So I just climbed the steps, I climbed up there with her, and I was scared as fuck. Like, she was just up there dangling her feet off like this, and I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie, I'm terrified. So I'm scared of heights too. Yeah. So anyway, so I'm up there, and there's nowhere to crawl, like, it's like a railing. You know, you get up there, it's like a railing. So like, you know, I'm fucking big. And even then I'm way bigger, you know? So I'm up on this bridge with her, and I just kind of talked her down. You know, I asked her what was going on. But, you know, you never want to ask somebody that's about to kill themselves why they're about to kill themselves, you know? So I just asked her, you know, what was her name? I can't remember her name, but I asked her, you know, what she was doing, you know, and I told her to come down the bridge. How I got the bridge, I told her to come off the bridge with me. And the worst case scenario, you can climb back up, you know? Which is kind of fucked up, because I kind of tricked her, because as soon as you go off the bridge, like the police got her or whatever.
I mean, at least you
well, you're not gonna let her climb the bridge, yeah. So the police first question to me, being a big ass nigga, was, how do you know this lady? What are you doing here, nigga? And then, after a slight amount of discernment, they realized, excuse my language, should call her. Sorry. Sorry for the way I was raised. But she was about to kill herself. And so, you know, that happened, then whatever. And then a little couple weeks later, they put me in the paper for it. And then
But they spoke highly of you.
Extremely highly. Nice. And then a little bit after that, you know, I told you about the mash burns. And I was working with them. The story about Jay, yeah. I was working with the mash burns and shit. No, that's not the story. I was working with the mash burns and shit. And